Hello everyone and welcome back to Recollection, where every game has a story. Forgiveness for the shagginess of all this. We're running a little low on time this week, and grizzled war veteran and all that kind of tying into this week's subject. And I was trying to think of what I wanted to talk about this time. Like, what game do I have a good story about, or has an interesting angle that I approached it from? And I chose this one because in order to understand it, I actually had to play a completely different game. Same genre, but it was a completely different game for me to actually understand what the heck I needed to do. And it took a few tries to actually get into it. But when I did, it became a personal favorite. That game? Final Fantasy Tactics. And yeah, so Final Fantasy is very important for me because 7 was my very first RPG. I did not know the genre. I had no idea anything about it like that. And a friend finally introduced it to me through 7, said I had to play this game, and I fell in love. Hard not to. 7's great. And it made me realize that any game on the PlayStation that had Squaresoft, that was a game I needed to pick up. So yeah, anytime I saw a game come out from Squaresoft, I'm like, yep, I want it. I don't care what it is. I know they made 7. It's good stuff. Didn't always apply, but I found a lot of really great games and still own some rare ones because of that mentality, including Vagrant Story and Xenogears and Parasite Eve and all that good stuff. It worked out in the long run. But Tactics was my first experience with a strategy RPG. I had never encountered it. I mean, I just got into RPGs and I didn't even know the whole job mechanic yet that Tactics had from 3 and 5. So there was a lot of aspects of this I just did not understand. And that definitely applied because I went into it. I was intrigued by the opening. I was intrigued by the plot. I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. I'm interested. You got me intrigued. And then I would continue on. I would make some new job classes because that's something you could do. Is like you get some set units, some named units, but for the most part you recruit new ones. And the whole big thing was this job system in the back where every character you could set as a different job and just keep making them and kind of create them from that direction. So it became very unique and it was very customizable what you could do as you went on. And it was cool. It seemed really cool. I wanted to check it out. The problem was I would do the first battle, do okay. Do the second battle, do okay. Get to the third battle. I believe it took place in the city, in the port. And I would get absolutely destroyed. And I would try and try, but I was so underleveled compared to everybody else that I was like, what the heck is going on? Why am I so bad at this? Why are they so powerful? I just can't do it. Am I stupid? And it just didn't click for me. And I tried multiple times, couldn't figure out why I did this. I would restart, play the first one, play the second one, get to the third one, and die. I tried different recruiting different classes, tried to make it work. It just would not work. And I got so frustrated because I couldn't figure it out. Well, fast forward quite a few years because I started hearing about another game that was coming out and got a lot of positive reception, and loved the style, and for whatever reason just clicked with me, and that I wanted to check it out. And that was actually Disgaea, Hour of Darkness of all things. And I just remember seeing it all over the place in gaming magazines, how it was so involved, and there were so many ideas to it, and it is a massive, massive game if you want to do all the extras. But if you go through the main story, it's still only a typical 30 to 40 hour RPG, but it had fun characters and all that. And it was my first time going through an RPG, a strategy RPG, and realizing, oh hey, I can level up. Because even remember, between this, I did try out, Fire Emblem on GBA had come out. And I was like, oh, cool, we get to check out this game that the series that Marth and Roy are from. And it was a strategy RPG. And just like Final Fantasy Tactics, I went from battle to battle to battle. But for some reason, the character levels were all fine. I didn't have to worry about all of a sudden being under-leveled as long as I got all my units, a kill on occasion, or took part in battle. So I still had no idea what was going on with Tactics. But Disgaea was the first time I had the ability to kind of grind in a strategy RPG. And that got me thinking. I'm like, wait a second. Is it possible to grind in Tactics? It just immediately sent my mind back to Tactics after all this time. And I spoke to another friend and that had played the game before, and they confirmed to me, yes, there are random battles in Final Fantasy Tactics, but they don't activate at all times. Random, of course. So there was a single node on the way back and forth from between the second and third mission. And there is a chance when you walked over it that a random battle would happen. Every time I played, a random battle never happened on the first time. I had to go back and forth on the map until it activated, and then I could actually do that battle and take part in everything. I could actually I could actually level up my characters and be prepared. And so I do that, get to the third mission, and all of a sudden, wow, this is way easier. Who would have guessed? This is a cinch. And then, and that allowed me to finally start playing the rest of that game. And it was glorious. This Tactics is a fantastic strategy RPG. Still, I haven't played in a while, but I still think it's one of the best out there. And especially for its story. It is filled with so much political intrigue that made it feel so different to Final Fantasy VII. And just hooked me completely. And I was so thankful I finally got the chance to play it and see what it was all about and get to the end and see the crazy outcome of the story and just the tragedy of a lot of it. It was intense, interesting stuff. I loved it. And I mean, coming off of 7 being my first RPG and being, loving that, the fact that it had Cloud and Aerith unlockable was a huge deal. Is like, oh, cool, I want them. I don't think I ever got Aerith, but I definitely got Cloud. And he starts out pretty weak, but you build him up and he could be a pretty big powerhouse. And it was just cool. It was just a lot of fun. And it's just crazy to me how long it took me to figure it out. And the thing is, I typically read manuals back in the day. Like, we have the manual here. And I don't remember. I did not check this before time. But I don't remember it saying that you could get into random battles or anything like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm checking through right now. Because it mostly talked about, the battles themselves. That's how they prepared you for all this. Because I would get a, new game and start reading through the manual on the way home. And yeah, I'm even looking through this now. I don't really think they mentioned anything about... Oh, here we go. We got the world map screen. We got the date. Ah, here it is. It is a single line that I just somehow missed or forgot or something to that effect, where each node on the map signifies something different. A blue dot indicates a stage that you've cleared. A red dot signifies places that you've not completed. Green dots are places where random battles occur. Single line, tucked into a paragraph. That's how I missed it. Didn't read close enough. It happens. But that said, highly recommend Final Fantasy Tactics. I think it's a fantastic game. It just took me a lot to get into it. That said, if we ever get a port, I really hope it's of Tactics War of the Lions that was originally released on PSP. I picked it up, saw a friend playing it at college, and I was like, oh my god, that looks so much better. That's so cool. So I picked it up, and unfortunately, never found the time to actually play it. So that's on the list. That's something if I ever went back to Tactics, this would be the version I would play. I just haven't had a chance yet, and it'd be really cool to go back and see all the depth, or have these extra cutscenes, and just make it a bit more special. And it has some extras as well, like you could get Balthier from Final Fantasy XII and War of the Lions on PSP. So there's some cool stuff in there. But yeah, that's my history with Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation, and how much effort it took for me to actually figure out how to play the damn game. But once I did, good stuff. So yeah, I'm curious what your history is with Tactics. Did you have the same problem? Did you have a hard time figuring out that you could have random battles if you've played this game before? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, hit the bell, all that fun stuff that you do on YouTube. All that helps us tremendously. And if you really want to support us, you can check us out over at Patreon at patreon.com/dvgaming. We can get support us for as little as $1 a month. It really means a lot, and I just enjoy telling these stories each and every week. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and we'll be back next time for more recollection. Until then, everyone, bye.